To a strange sight on the streets of Austin. Maybe you spotted this today on social media or in person. A robot wearing a cowboy hat walking alone on South Congress. We reached out to APD and the city to see if they knew anything about this, but it's still unclear tonight who the robot belongs to and why it was out there walking all by itself. If any of you at home know, let us know. Give us a call or just email us at news@kview.com.
Interfacing with a robot has just moved from science fiction into real life. Embody and control a humanoid robot through H2L's innovative capsule interface. Just by sitting in the capsule, the user can see and interact with the world through the eyes and body of a robot. How is it done? The inside of the capsule is filled with muscle displacement sensors, speakers, and displays. By shifting your back, or slightly moving the hands and feet, force and movement is communicated to the robot. At the same time, the interface delivers audio-visual information from the robot to the user. This opens up so many possibilities. What would virtual reality feel like when you can transmit movement into a personal avatar while receiving audio-visual and physical input back? Robots can lift objects that the user wouldn't be able to with their own body. The elderly and disabled can interact with the physical world, even if they're bedbound. What do you think? Would you want to give this futuristic chair a spin?
All right, so there you have it. Shalom, shalom, shalom. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, which is to say in the Paleo Hebrew, Yahweh, which is the name of our Heavenly Father, meaning He is, Bahashem, meaning in the name, Yahweh Shai, meaning He is our salvation. And that is who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, a so-called black man, who, by the way, only came for the Israelites. All right. Now, what you saw was two clips combined together to make one picture. And that picture being self-autonomous robots. Okay. Self-autonomous. Now, not in the sense that they are doing this by themselves, but they are. Okay. They're just using the avatar really as the human to bring forth their agenda. Okay. Now, the first video we saw was a robot that was walking on its own, autonomously, presumably. All right. Because here you have the streets of Texas and you just out and about and you see a robot walking on its own. You thinking to yourself, how cool. Okay. And then the second video conveyed the message that what? It is being controlled from somewhere far off distance by someone else. Okay. Albeit, it's giving the appearance of operating on its own. It's actually being controlled by someone else far away. Okay. So you can imagine going to your local neighborhood Walmart and seeing those robots shop and pick up items off the shelves, presumably by themselves, but little do you know they're being controlled by someone else from home. Let's say, for instance. Okay. No longer do you need to, have humans to fulfill orders when you can get them fulfilled yourself. Okay. Whether you want to grocery shop from the comforts of your living room, you can do that. Whether you want to work from the confines of your car or whatever, you can do that. It's all an option, and it's going to be given to you if you will all but take the mark of the beast. Okay? Because this is where it's heading to. They're going to put that technology inside your brain. All right? And you're going to be able to control these robots just by thinking. And they said you can feel what the robots feel. Okay? If you so desire. So the technology is here. Ammon or the Japan, they are dabbling into it. And we know eventually everyone is going to do it, man. Okay? So it's not by surprise that Ammon or the Japanese is experiencing and dabbling in this technology. And we're going to read it right here from this website, Interesting Engineering. And it says, video, Japan new tech turns your body into a remote control for humanoid robots. Okay, now that's what we saw in the second video, how you seen they was giving you the point of view of the robot, and you can see what the robot is doing from picking up the box to pushing buttons. And I put together that first video showing that the news lady asked if anybody knows what that is. It could potentially be someone controlling the robot from a disclosed location. All right, just testing it out on the streets. All right, picking up, information and what have you. It says the H2L's capsule interface uses muscle sensors to capture real-time intent and force by detecting subtle shifts in muscle movements. So you can walk with this robot, you can run with this robot. It's a muscle sensor, it's muscle sensitive. Okay. And here's the image of the woman sitting in the time capsule, controlling the robot. All right. And it says a Japanese technology startup has developed a device to transmit full body movements and physical strength. You see? So I can only imagine whoever was controlling that robot on the streets was wishing someone would try to pick him up or kick him over or snatch him, where he can be justified in doing whatever it is that he had to do to defend itself. It says the H2L's capsule interface technology aims to create immersive shared experience between humans, robots, and avatars, opening new remote interaction and collaboration possibilities. And we know ultimately the only way you're going to get the full experience is if you download and get the program put inside of your body, your forehead, your brain. All right? It's gonna solve everything. Okay? You got a bedridden, relative that can't go out. Well, maybe they want to plug in and take a walk or get in the back of a Uber or a taxi as a robot and see the scenery as they drive over to your house. See? It's just a new way of what? Exploring different avenues. No longer do you have to use a telephone, but you can also have an avatar, all right? You can have an avatar that ride a motorcycle. You see? You can have an avatar that get on the bus, all right? You can have an avatar or quote-unquote self-autonomous robot that cooks and cleans, okay? But it takes commands from you, all right? Or so they allow you to believe that, okay? Because once you take that chip, that's it. You've been prepared to get dipped in the lake of fire. It says, where we at? Like a massage chair, the advanced control system transforms the user body into a remote interface for operating a humanoid robot. The Tokyo-based company has released a short video showcasing the new system's function. In May 2025, Stanford and Simon Fraser University's researchers developed TWIST, an AI system enabling humanoid robots to accurately mimic human movements in real time. All right, so you get the gist of it. Okay, they're giving you all these amenities of having a cool robot that can do everything, but ultimately it's going to come down to your willing participant. Okay? Are you going to take the microchip? If not, you don't get any of this. Okay? It's just that simple. You won't get any of the perks and benefits of having the microchip and being on Esau Edom's grid if you don't get chipped. Okay? You don't get the self-autonomous robots. You don't get the universal basic income. You don't get anything. No food, no shelter, no anything. So it's coming down to, what are you willing to do to participate? He's already showing you the way of the future, and not just him, but the others as well. We have Ammon, or the so-called Japanese in this case, that's showing you they're willing participants of this new world order. They're on board. Okay? It says the contrast with conventional teleoperations or teleoperation, which usually, wait, did we skip? Oh, yeah, we skipped some. Yeah. Let's start at the paragraph above. It says H2L uses sophisticated muscle displacement sensors in its capsule interface to identify even the smallest changes in muscle tension. So just the flick of your wrist or just the tweak of your thumb could be enough to make the robot move. It says H2L uses sophisticated muscle displacement sensors in its capsule interface to identify, and that capsule is just going to be that chip, man. See, they buying time right now. They showing you everything without showing you everything. They're showing you all the perks and benefits of these robots and all the technology, but they're using other avenues or ways to go about showing you, other than just showing you upright that it's going to be the microchip. So in this case, they showed you what? A lady sitting in a capsule, showing you all the possibilities that you can have with this technology. But when this time comes, they just going to let you know you ain't going to get it unless you take the microchip. Okay? So it says H2L uses sophisticated muscle displacement sensors in its capsule interface to identify even the smallest changes in muscle tension. The technology records a user physical intent and applied force in real time by monitoring even the smallest changes in muscle movement, not only limb position. This contrasts with conventional teleoperation, which usually relies on motion sensors to mimic user movements such as IMUs, exoskeletons, or optical trackers. H2L argues that motion data alone lacks the nuance needed for emotional and physical realism. See? So H2L, this company based out of Tokyo, says that motion data alone lacks the nuance needed for emotional and physical realism. So you don't get it as real as you get with this technology. All right? With the muscle sensors, with the slightest sense. All right? It's going to give you the realism of being there. Because you're going to not only be able to pick things up, but you're going to also be able to feel with this. Okay? You're going to be able to feel if someone touches you. If someone touches the robot, you're going to feel that pulse, or however they're going to set it up, that, vibration or whatever it is. You brothers that play video games and you have a controller, and if you got a racing car game and that controller hit the wall and the video controller shakes, simulating the impact of hitting the wall, well, it may be something similar to that with this. All right? If somebody touches you or if somebody touches the robot that you're controlling or kicks the robot, you may feel it. If somebody bumps into the robot when it's walking down the street, you may feel that bump. They give you what? A more realistic experience. Okay? And some may say, well, why would you want to do that when you can just go out and do it and walk and do everything on your own. But as the narrator say, some may be bedridden, okay? Some, according to the New World Order, may not have an extensive social credit score to go out, to wander off. So this is the next best thing. See? In this New World Order, you're not going to have the autonomy to go about and go as you will, okay? It's going to be similar to how China is. You're going to have a social credit score, and what your social credit score is dictates whether or not you have autonomy to go to venues, go to concerts, go to ballparks, go to grocery stores. And if you don't have a good credit score for whatever reason, maybe you talked about the government or you was found doing something you shouldn't do, well, you're going to be isolated into a what? A capsule, or into something more smaller, where although you're isolated, it still feels like you're free. All right? Almost as if you're locked up. Okay? So this very much well could be something that they use in prison. Okay? If you take the microchip, well, we can give you this experience while you're locked up to be out and about, to see if we can reform you before letting you go back into society. Okay? So the opportunities are endless with this microchip for those that don't believe. Okay? They're going to take it. It says, while visual and positional synchronization can create a basic sense of operation, they fail to replicate the forces exerted or the effort experienced during interaction. See? So they want to give you the full experience. If you picking up a 60-pound box of whatever that's in it, it wants to give you that opportunity to feel just how real it is to pick it up, but at the same time safe, because you're not doing it, it's the robot that's doing it. So you're not going to break your back bending over picking up heavy weight, but at the same time you can feel it. Okay? Which may be good for workouts. All right? You see? You may want to bench press. But guess what? You can't get to a gym because why? Your credit score is messed up. So what can you do? You can have a robot that can simulate the what? The atrophy of working those particular muscles by what? Exerting force. See? So you won't even have to go to the gym anymore. All right? Running. Okay? You don't even have to get on the treadmill, because why? It's just going to target that muscle and exhort it as if you're running. Okay? So we here, man. All right? The beast system is ready to get up and running. No pun intended. And hey, it's just a matter of time. All right? Just the right crises or series of crises that's going to allow it to come out. And then it's going to be introduced to the world worldwide. Okay? So let's get a couple of precepts and then we'll take it from there. We are in the book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 9. It reads, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan. We are talking about the self-proclaimed so-called white man, Esau, Edom, and everyone else that's going to fall in line with his agenda. Yes, even Ammon, or the so-called Japanese. All right? Everyone's going to be on this agenda. All right? It says, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders. This is going to be a lying wonder, okay? Because you're going to think to yourself, well, this has to be, heavenly sent, because now Nana and Papa could come see me and they could get the experience of walking and running in the backyard with, little Timmy or Mary, from the what? Confines of their bed in the nursing home. Okay? So it's just going to be all type of lies that this microchip is going to be able to perform under the beast system, okay, you're going to believe that you're the one that's actually controlling this thing, all right? That's mainly the lie, that you have control over it when it's it that has control over you, okay? Because these elite bankers can easily shut it off at any time if you don't play ball, all right? So it's going to deceive many. It says, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, right? Those that are unrighteous are going to be the ones that take this, and they're going to perish. It says, because they receive not the love of the truth. And this is only directed to the Israelites, all right? You are the ones that's going to perish, because why? You did not receive the truth. The other nations, well, yes, they're going to perish. Speaking of here in America, which is known as Babylon the Great, the United States of America, but we speaking on the Israelites here, all right? You so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. You're going to perish when you had the opportunity to repent. It says, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. See, when those missiles come, your destiny is going to be sealed. Because why? You took the chip, and there's no way around it, okay? If you're here in Babylon, you're going to burn, baby, burn. You're going to get dipped in that fire. It says, verse 11, and for this cause, the Most High shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie. See? They're going to get that chip because they're going to believe a lie, man. They're going to believe that it's a wonder, that it's a miracle. All right? What is that word wonders in the Greek? It goes into, that's the Greek word.
Strong's G 5059. Teras. Teras.
And that's what I was thinking, a miracle. So the outline of biblical usage is a prodigy, portent. Number 2, miracle performed by anyone. So they're gonna believe a lie, which is a lie and wonder, which is a miracle, that this thing could perform all these things. That must be a miracle. Okay? It has to be. And they don't know, it's just going to be a lie and wonder. Okay? So it says, and for this cause the Most High shall send them strong delusion, that they shall believe a lie, which is part of that lie and wonder, which is going to be a false miracle. Because it's not going to be a miracle on the right-hand side. It's going to be a miracle or a lie on the left-hand side to deceive the mass that don't believe in the word, the truth. It says that they all might be damned who believe not the truth. Why? But had pleasure in unrighteousness. See, they love this society. They love this man's perks and amenities and things of that magnitude. They love going out to the ball game on Saturday. They love going out and celebrating their birthdays and everything else, and going and getting Christmas presents. And they love the world, man. They love the world, which is ran by the wicked. Okay? And the Lord Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, says, love not the world, neither the things that are in it. If you love the world, then you, I'm roughly paraphrasing, are an enemy of the Lord, man. What is that? It might be James. And it could be in Romans. James 4:4, ye adulterers and adulteress, know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with the Most High? Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of the Most High. See? And that's why Jake is going to be destroyed, because he's a friend of the world, which by proxy is an enemy of the Most High. When you take this chip, you're becoming a friend of the world, and you're going to be the enemy of the Most High, and he's going to destroy you. All right? Let's see if that's in Romans. Romans 12:2, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove that, or Salakia, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of the Most High. So you can't be a friend of this world by taking that chip. That's you sealing your friendship with this world and your hatred towards the Most High. So you're an enemy at that point, all right? See, and this devil knows that, so he's going to give you the best of what he has to offer you, which is that microchip, so you can become what? His friend, which is going to be short-lived, because he's going to lie and deceive to you, and then you're going to be destroyed by the Most High, because why? You are now his enemy, all right? So back to 2 Thessalonians 2:12. It says that they all might be damned who believed not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. Okay? So this is where it's heading to, man. Take the chip, get dipped, and see you on the other side, man. Okay? And for all you other nations, well, you're going to come back in the kingdom, but you're going to be slaves. All right? So the lying wonders are still manifesting all the way up until the microchip is made mandatory. Then they will no longer need to, put the veil over your face per se. They can pull it back and show you. Because in that time, it ain't going to matter. All right? It's going to be all hell breaking loose at that time. Okay? And they know you're going to take it. All right? So let's finish up and close out with 1 Peter 5:8. This is the book of 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8. It reads, be sober, be vigilant. Why? Because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. Okay? Come on over here to this side and get this microchip. You can walk up and down the streets even if you ain't allowed to. All right? From the capsule or from the confined space or room or wherever you located at in your small house or whatever, because more than likely you ain't gonna be able to afford nothing in this kingdom, man, in the new world order. All right? You're going to want to go out, but you can't. So what's the next best thing? Hey, experience it from a small shack, 1 bedroom, 300 square foot, studio or box, whatever you want to call it, and call it a night, man. All right? So you just have to be sober and vigilant, man, because this devil, he's getting ready to come down with great wrath. All right? So that's going to conclude the lesson. And with that being said, pray someone was edified through this, and until the next time, if it be the Lord's will, stay strong, stay in the faith. We almost home. Shalom. Peace.